Good morning. Just make a few brief comments. First, in relation to what is occurring in the Middle East, Australia has been clear, along with the international community, that Iran cannot be allowed to develop a nuclear weapon. We support action to prevent that from occurring, and this is what this is. What I would also say is we know that the international nuclear watchdog, the International Atomic Energy Agency, has made clear that Iran has enough heavily enriched uranium for several nuclear bombs. That has been made clear. It has also said that Iran is not in compliance with its obligations under the non-proliferation arrangements that it has signed up to. What happens now matters. We do not want to see escalation. We do call for diplomacy, de-escalation and dialogue, because the world does not want to see a full-scale war in the Middle East. And that call from Australia is consistent with the same call from the United Kingdom, members of the European Union and beyond. A brief consular update. We currently have 2,900 Australians and their families in Iran who have registered with us and seeking to leave. We have around 1,300 Australians and their families who are still registered with us in Israel and seeking to leave. The situation is very difficult. Airspace remains closed. Certainly in Iran, it is a very difficult situation. You have heard me previously urging Australians and their families to leave if they believe they can do so safely. We've deployed Australian officials to the Azerbaijani border, so if Australians do get there, we can provide them with support. In relation to Israel, there are reports that the airspace may open for a limited period. Obviously, this is very fluid, but we are seeking to make arrangements to utilise that window if we are able, and we have advised Australians on the ground of that fact. Again, I emphasise we are seeking to utilise this opportunity, but the situation on the ground is uncertain and fluid and risky. I'm happy to take questions.
Minister, did Australia receive any advance notice that the US would be taking this action, and what role could Australia play in the de-escalation process aside from public advocacy as you are today?
Well, the US has made clear this was unilateral action taken by the United States. What I would say is we're not a central player. What we can do is to add our voice to the calls from the international community, who overwhelmingly are calling for de-escalation and diplomacy.
There's a chorus of international lawyers since this happened that have said that this is a breach of international law. It's not in keeping with the UN Charter. How do you justify these actions?
I would make the point that the facilities which have been targeted are only for the purpose of Iran's nuclear program. So I would make that point, and I think that does matter. We have long been clear, along with others in the international community, that it is a threat to global peace and security for Iran to obtain a nuclear weapon.
Why has it taken almost 24 hours for the government to provide support to the US?
I think if you look at our statement released by the government yesterday, we made clear what we have always said, which is the international community, including Australia, has long believed that Iran cannot obtain a nuclear weapon. I think that was very clear.
What do you say to Iranian community in Australia about Australia's support, I suppose?
Look, I understand this is a very difficult time for the Australian-Iranian community. The conflict itself, their concern about friends and family in Iran, including Australians and their families who may be in Iran. It is a very difficult time and we are thinking of you. What I can say, certainly in relation to Australians and their families, is that we stand ready to assist them when we are able to do so.
Can I ask one question about the assisted departures?
Sure.
So those numbers across Iran and Israel is about 4,200 now.
That's right.
Assuming that the airspace does open and you acknowledge that the situation is fluid, how long could it potentially take? I'm
not going to speculate on that because there are so many variables in play. But again, what I'd say is we will seek to assist when we can and wherever we can. The situation is unstable and the situation is fluid. Thank you very much.